What is up, guys? Nate here, and today, since we're a little slow on stuff in the shop, I figured we'd do a video on the El Camino. Just kind of a little progress report here. We haven't really done a lot to it, but just something to keep the page going a little bit. So let me turn the camera around here. So as you can see, not much different from the last time you saw it, but what's this? This is our new dashboard. We picked this up out of a junkyard in Arizona. If you guys haven't checked out my other videos, definitely go on my page and you can see more of the El Camino. But we had to get a new dashboard because this, yeah, that's kind of bad. So not only is it rusted up here, but it's also rusted all the way along the bottom. So we just decided, instead of trying to patch this, patch under there, and everything, we just decided to try to find a new dash. But of course they don't make a new dash for 65 or 64, so we went ahead and finally found one at a junkyard. Nobody had any, but this guy was willing to give his up. And what they actually did was kind of funny. They basically just cut the whole firewall and basically just cut the whole part off instead of cutting the dash along the line, which is a good thing, because another part we need to fix is the A-pillars here. You can see we have a lot of rust in here. And what do you know, they sent us these as well, which are perfect, solid. And I gotta tell you guys, this is an absolutely perfect hunk of metal right here. I have found no rust on this, and I've been looking at it for a little while now. I've been looking at it for about a month. But, everything on here is perfect. Even the paint. I mean, look at that. That's amazing. But anyway, that is very good. So the next thing that we'll have to do, obviously, is, first of all, before we get to cutting anything, we'll have to stabilize everything. So we'll take some angle iron and weld in cross braces, corner to corner, top, bottom, left, right, every which way. Because as soon as you cut this, if you do not have it welded together, it will move. And I mean, everything will move. And that is why when you see people where they've done restorations and their doors don't shut, that's because they did their floor and or they did their doors or something, and they didn't brace it together, so everything moved when the heat got to it. And we'll go to the other side here, and you can see, I guess it's not as bad on this side. It's still bad, but yeah, on the A-pillar on here as well. And actually, here's a little tip for you guys. If you don't know, obviously 64 and 65 Chevelles, El Camino station wagons, they have slight differences, such as the tail lights. They have the backup lights in the bumper. Or sorry, 64 has the tail light, or the backup light in the tail light. 65 has it in the bumper. And also, the grille is a lot different. It's more rounded on a 64 than a 65. Now, this is something I didn't know. Obviously, the interior on a 64 is a little different. You have the, I believe, the vertical lines on the door panels instead of horizontal on 55. But here's something I didn't know. If you notice on the 65 dash here, you have this little indentation in the lip on top that goes all the way across. Now, obviously, you're going to have your dash pad on here, so you're not going to really notice it anyway. But on 64, which is this dash, is smooth. Now, I didn't even notice until I got it. I was looking, I wondered why that wasn't there, and I looked it up, and 65 has that. 64 doesn't. Other than that, everything is the exact same. Even the grill placement up there. But here's another little interesting thing. The amazing thing is, I don't understand why on some of the things on a 64 and 65 they changed. Such as you can see here, the line in the firewall, you can see it comes out and over. Compared to the 64, it just goes straight out and then kind of ends there. Why they did these little things, I have absolutely no idea. But the nice thing about the 64 and 65 being the same is you can pretty much buy any part from a 64 and bolt it onto a 65. There's going to be pretty much no difference that's going to affect the car. Even all the way up to, I believe, 67, maybe 68. I don't think 68 because that was a different body style. But all the way up to 67, everything is pretty much the same. So the dimensions of the interior are the same. Body is it's longer on the 67, I do say that. But for the interior, you could technically put a 66 or 67 dash in there, and it should in theory, line up. because the floor pans are the same. If you go in the OPGI catalog we have over there, the floor pans are basically the same. So, what else have we done to the El Camino? I'm glad you asked. We have finally finished up this gas cap. Now, for those of you who, again, haven't checked out the page, we wanted to get rid of the gas cap because it just didn't, it just didn't go with the flow. So, we decided we're going to put a gas tank under the bed, like before, and we're going to put out a little cap here in the bed floor, just so that, you don't have that big hunk of metal sticking out right here. And I personally welded this up. I'm pretty proud of myself. The thing, if you're going to do something like this, is take your time, because especially when you have this large of a quarter panel or a body panel, you don't want to put a lot of heat on this, because if you do, it's going to work. So with this, I took my time and we welded everything up. You can see there's a couple holes in there, but nothing little body filler can't fix. And this is absolutely perfect. There's no divots or anything in it. Perfectly smooth. I'm sorry, my camera's being a pain in the butt. But the other thing we noticed is there's this little rust hole down here. And, oh my God, why is this not focusing? There we go. Have that little rust hole down there, which we'll fix up. We'll probably, I'm not sure if we can patch that with a little, just weld it up. Because this metal right down here, as I noticed from up here, is very thin. Another thing that we didn't discover until we started grinding all this down is we got some dough. Bondo. So, what we've already found out is that this car, or truck, El Camino, has already been in a minor accident. It was hit, we assume, from the back corner here. Because if you notice, you have this nice little crinkle down here. And also, it is a newer bumper on it, because when we took it off on the back, it had written on it 65 Chevelle. So we assume it was hit back here. Luckily, that quarter panel is steel. There's no Bondo there. But, and even here, you still have steel, but there's a little, as you can, I'm not sure if you can tell in the video, there's a little dent right there. And there was Bondo in there, and it goes over a little ways. We're not sure exactly how far, but when we get the car to the dipper, we'll figure it out then. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the rear floor pans in here already. Yeah, I showed you that. I remember now. It's been a little while. But the next step for the El Camino here is basically do the little rust repairs that we haven't done yet, like in the back window tray, or window trim, I guess you could say. There's a little rust up there, along on the other side there. Nothing severe. And we also still have that one right here, and one on the bottom. But again, nothing severe at all, just some little rust repairs. That dash is going to actually be the next thing. Forgot about that. But that is probably going to be the most major part of this build so far, because when you do this, you are risking the entire car, basically. If you make a wrong cut, you're basically screwed. You can't just go back from there. If you don't weld in enough braces and the car twists or something, you're screwed. You can't go back and fix that, or at least if you try to, it's not even worth it. So we're taking our time with this one. We're actually trying to think out how we're going to do this. My suggestion was that because we can't cut it right here, because we got nothing to weld to here. So we're going to have to cut it under here on this lip. And there's a little body line right there, a little bit, not a whole lot, but we'll mark it, grind it all the way across, and stop it right here where that groove is. And then, of course, up here, because we don't have the whole thing. This is where it's going to get tricky, because here there's no place to measure from because it's rounded. So we'll have to obviously cut it longer than shorter, because if you cut this too short, you really can't patch that. I mean, that's the structural integrity of the car. You can't patch that. So basically right now we're just kind of sitting back a little bit and kind of scratching our heads on this one, because we want to make sure that we don't screw this up. I think that's pretty much most of what we've done. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't checked out the channel, definitely go ahead and like this video, comment what you guys think if you have any questions, and definitely subscribe to the channel so you can check out more videos of the El Camino, the MG, the Camaro, and the Willys, and we can't forget about the Deuce and a Half. So, thank you guys for checking out the video. Hope you guys liked it. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to check out more videos of these beauties. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you.